Hello children, welcome to Sage Vidya Mandir English High School CBSE online audio video lessons. I am your English teacher Jean Miss, and today we will be learning the second chapter of our unit 7, that is Gulliver's Travel. When a person tells the story of his life in his own words, it is said to be an autobiography. Same way here, Gulliver, a sailor, was once caught in the land of giants. This is how he describes his experience. On the 16th of June 1730, we discovered land. Our captain sent a dozen men with vessels for water, if any could be found. When we came to land, we saw no river or no spring nor any inhabitants. I went on to explore. The country was barren and rocky. I turned back to join the crew only to see them getting into the boat and rowing for life to get to the ship. Now over here Gulliver begins his experience by saying that on 16th of June 1730 he and his teammates, or he and his crew, they found a land. On that land, the captain he sent a dozen men with vessels of water if there was any. So the captain sent the people to get water. When we came to the land, we saw no water source. There was no river, there was no spring, or there were nor any inhabitants. Inhabitants means the people who live over there. But they kept on exploring, and the place, the country, it was totally barren and rocky. Barren means a land where crops cannot be grown. It is totally infertile. And rocky means it is mostly covered with stones. So Gulliver, he turned back to join the crew, but the crew, they boarded into a boat and they were rowing for life to get to the ship. In the picture you can see Gulliver, his crew on a boat and the ship. So here when Gulliver and his crew found that there are no people living here and there is nothing available, so the crew, they went back to the ship, and Gulliver, he was the only one left. Before I could reach them, I observed a huge creature walking after them in the sea as fast as he could. The water of the ocean reached only till his knees. However, the monster was unable to overtake the speeding boat. I turned back quickly and climbed up a steep hill with fields of barley on either side and the corn rising up to 40 feet. There was a fence to pass from one field to other. Now over here, when Gulliver, he was trying to reach his crewmates who were in a boat, he saw a very huge creature walking after the boat in the sea. And the creature, the water of the ocean reached the creature's knees, which means he was very gigantic. However, the monster was unable to overtake the speeding boat. So the creature who was running after the boat, he was unable to take it. So Gulliver, he turned back quickly and he climbed up a hill which was on which there were fields of barley, and on the other side there was corn which was rising up to 40 feet in height. But there was a fence in between to pass from one field to another. It was impossible for me to climb because every step was 6 feet high. I was trying to find a gap in the hedge when I discovered one of the inhabitants in the next field walking towards the fence. Now over here Gulliver, he was trying to climb the hill, but every step was 6 feet high. And Gulliver, he was unable to climb it because he was a small guy. So Gulliver was trying to find a gap, but before that, he saw an inhabitant, a person who is living on that land in the next field, and that person he started walking towards the fence. He was of the same size as the creature chasing the boat. I was struck with utmost fear and astonishment and ran to hide myself. He called in a voice much louder than a trumpet. So the person or the inhabitant who was running towards the fence, he was of the same size as Gulliver saw the creature who was running after the boat. Gulliver, he was shocked and he was scared, and he wanted to run very quickly in order to hide himself from that creature. The creature called in a voice which was very loud than a trumpet. It sounded like thunder. 7 monsters like him came towards the field ready to rip the corn. So over here we see that 7 more creatures or monsters, they came towards the field to collect the grown corn. They carried a reaping hook which was very big. As you can see in the picture, the man who is holding Gulliver, he has a very reaping weapon in his right hand. When one of the reapers approached where I lay hidden, I screamed as loud as I could. So where Gulliver was hidden, one of the inhabitants, he came near him. The creature stopped ripping, fixed me up between his thumb and forefinger, and brought me close to his eyes, 60 feet above the ground. As you can see in the picture, you can compare the person's or the creature's height and Gulliver's height. So when that person he saw Gulliver, what he did is he stopped reaping, he stopped collecting grown corn, and he picked Gulliver up. And Gulliver saw that the eyes of this creature were 60 feet above the ground. He looked at me with curiosity and blew my hair aside to get a better view of my face. He called his friends and gently placed me on the ground. They all sat on the ground to take a good look at me. When the creature he grabbed Gulliver, what he did is he blew his hair to see Gulliver's face. Then he called his friends and then he kept Gulliver on the ground. And all of his friends were looking at Gulliver. They were wondering, what person is this? I walked slowly backward and forward, pulled off my hat, and made a low bow towards the farmers. I tried to speak to them loudly in several languages. So over here what Gulliver did is he took a couple of steps backward and forward. Then he took his hat off and he bowed before them. Gulliver then tried to speak to them in different languages. Each time I did so, the farmer who picked me up held his ear very close to me, but in vain. The farmer took me to his house and placed me at some distance on the dining table, which was 30 feet high from the floor. So over here, whenever Gulliver was trying to speak, the person who held him, he used to bring his ear closer to him just in order to hear what Gulliver was trying to say. But then the farmer or the creature, he again grabbed Gulliver and he took Gulliver to his house and he placed him on a dining table which was 30 feet high. See over here again you can see a table, cat, a granny, some food and Gulliver. Dinner was brought for the farmer in a dish which was 10 feet in diameter. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and placed it before me. In the middle of the dinner, I heard a noise behind me. It was the purring of a cat that was 10 times larger than an ox. The farmer's wife was stroking him. So, dinner was brought to the farmer, which was 10 feet in diameter, which means that the plate was very huge in size. And the farmer's wife, what she did is she took some bread, crumpled it, and she placed it before Gulliver. In the middle of the dinner, I heard some noise, and Gulliver he turned back and he saw a cat who was 10 times bigger, 10 times larger than an ox. The farmer's wife was gently stroking the cat. Then entered the farmer's 1-year-old son in the arms of a lady. On seeing me, the child grabbed me from the table and put my head into his mouth. I shouted so loudly that the baby dropped me. So after some time, a lady she came in the room and she had a small child in her hand. And as soon as the baby or the child he saw Gulliver on the table, what he did is he tried to put Gulliver in his mouth. See, in this picture you can clearly see that the baby is trying to eat Gulliver. So on seeing this, Gulliver he shouted so loudly that the baby he got scared and he dropped Gulliver. I would have broken my neck if the mother had not held her apron under me. So when the baby he dropped Gulliver, the mother of the child, what she did is she took her apron and she grabbed Gulliver. On doing this, Gulliver didn't get hurt. Later, she put me on her bed and covered me with a clean white handkerchief. I slept dreaming of my home, my wife, and my children. Then the lady who saved Gulliver from getting hurt, she put Gulliver on her own bed and she covered Gulliver with a clean white handkerchief. And Gulliver he went to sleep and he was dreaming of his own house, his own wife, and his children. This story is adapted from Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. I hope you understood the story. Thank you.